sana tamu sana years. David Murathe yesterday at KCC Nairobi, during Raila's coronation, he made some remarks. And those remarks are actually going viral. I've been checking through some various political pages, and Kenyans are actually discussing and talking about those remarks by David Murathe. So in this video, I want us to listen in to David Murathe, after which, as usual here, we are going to dissect those remarks to see their political relevance in Kenyan politics. Listen into this.
Why do you think you once said that you cannot be a president unless you have served in the opposition? Do you still maintain those sentiments?
It's not me. That is the history of the country. Kenyatta was in the opposition during colonial. Jaramogi was in the opposition. Moi, when he became vice president, before he became vice president, he was in the opposition. Kibaki was in the opposition. Uhuru was the official leader of the opposition. Jacob has been the leader of the opposition. Now all those people, with the exception of Jaramogi, became presidents. So in order for you to become president, you have to have learned the ropes of how to be a champion of the people issues from the other side of the government. William Ruto has been in government from university to YK92. He has been in every successive government to date. He has never learned, but so far we can see he's learning how to be in the opposition. He was championing opposition causes in the United States of America, and I think he's learning quickly. So maybe he needs some time in the opposition before he's ready to become president of the republic. Okay. So I still hold on to that.
If you take a keen look at those remarks by David Murathe is actually making sense. Simply because if you look at all the presidents who have served in Kenya, all of them at one point in time, they served in the opposition. Right from the first president, who was acting more or less as an opposition leader during the Wazungu days. And then with Moi, he was in Kadu, then he jumped over to Kanu. Kadu was acting as opposition. And then Kibaki, we know, was opposition leader. And then Uhuru was opposition leader. And Raila has been opposition leader. So in one way or the other, what David Murathe is saying is actually true. And besides that aspect of a president being an opposition leader, I've also been doing such kind of analysis in this forum. I've always also maintained that our presidents always rotate between the young and the old. So if you look at the graph, you'll find that if you have an old president, the next president will averagely be young, and then old, young, old, young. And now in this year, Uhuru is retiring a young president. And then his successor, most likely, will be an old president in Raila Odinga. And the graph will continue. But again, if you look at William Ruto, if that trend is to continue without any interruption, then whether unfortunate enough, we might find William Ruto some days maybe being a president. But I also won't be wrong to conclude that if you look at all these former presidents, there is no president that has had serious corruption allegations that have always been leveled against him compared to William Ruto. So as much as maybe that trend can actually favor William Ruto in the future, I'm also seeing the corruption cases actually thwarting that. We might actually find William Ruto being the first opposition leader, because it's clear that this year, William Ruto will be the opposition leader. If maybe the things were to remain constant, in the coming 5 or 6 months, we'll have William Ruto acting more or less as the opposition leader. And it's not all the opposition leaders who have actually managed to be the president. We also had Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was actually opposition leader, but he never became the president. And I'm seeing Jaramogi's fate and also William Ruto's fate taking a similar trajectory. we might find William Ruto being the second opposition leader not to have been president. And I'm saying that because if you look at William Ruto's political survival, it largely depends on the goodwill of the leader who will come, or rather will assume office. Assuming the next government will be ruled by leaders who are seriously against corruption, then we might actually find William Ruto having some serious problems, and those serious problems might even make it very impossible for William Ruto to contest even for presidency in future. William Ruto is widely mentioned in allegations of corruption. And William Ruto is still existing today politically because the government that have always been there have been friendly to him. But in the event we have a government that is seriously wants to crack on corruption, then William Ruto might not actually survive that crackdown. And then also, if you look at all these leaders who have been president, they have actually been propelled to the presidency through the kind of a support that they built for themselves. In the case of Uhuru Kenyatta, when Moi endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta never became the president. He never became the president, I mean. So Uhuru Kenyatta had to shed off the borrowed support from Moi to actually now build his own support, after which now he became the president. If you look at William Ruto, almost 3/4 of William Ruto's support currently, we can attribute that support to Uhuru Kenyatta, the Gamer vote. In fact, the Gamer vote, if you look at William Ruto's support, Gamer vote forms about 3/4 of William Ruto's support. So for William Ruto actually even to be president, as other leaders have been, then he has to first of all, shed off that Gamer vote support. That's what I'm saying here. He must first of all shed off that Gamer support. Then he build his support slowly with the time. I'm seeing that after doing that, maybe in future he might actually become the president. But he cannot become the president with a borrowed support. So technically what I'm saying, for William Ruto to be president, he will first of all have to lose the Gamer vote. Then after losing that Gamer vote, it will now mean William Ruto will only have Kalenjin vote behind him. Then now William Ruto will now start building his political brand across the country, slowly by slowly. I'm seeing that will take not less than 25 years. So for William Ruto actually to be in a position where he will now be able to be president of Kenya, assuming these corruption cases and even ICC does not swallow him, I'm seeing William Ruto taking around 25 years to be the president. And that will simply mean that after Raila Molo Odinga's presidency, we will still have 2 more presidents who will be president before William Ruto can actually even become president. So you can just see that this route for William Ruto to be president is still very, very far away. It's still a long shot. And it will only depend on how William Ruto will actually behave in the coming years. And then having said that, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the ICC cases again, I think that case can also be used very effectively to deny William Ruto maybe that post of the presidency. Because now, again, it will also depend on the government that will come into power. Assuming we have also a government that will be willing and ready to work with ICC, then we might just find William Ruto being ferried, or rather being shipped to the Netherlands-based court. So that also will delay William Ruto's chances of actually becoming the president. So William Ruto, from where I sit, is a leader who sits in a precarious situation. He's actually cornered from all sides. But locally, he has got very serious corruption allegations that his survival will only depend on the goodwill of the government that will come into power. And then internationally, he also has serious crimes against humanity. And those serious crimes against humanity, William Ruto has been surviving because the government that was in place was actually friendly to him. So in the event a government comes to power, a government that will want to maybe finish William Ruto will easily be finished politically. So William Ruto might go down in history of this country as a leader who was an opposition leader, but he never managed to become the president of this great Republic of Kenya. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I can add from those sentiments or other remarks by David Murathe. But again, it shows clearly that besides also being an opposition leader, it also shows that it's not automatic that once you become an opposition leader, then definitely maybe sometimes you must become president. William Ruto might actually go the Jaramogi Odinga way. He might actually not even one day become the president of this great country. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, just as I did state when we were starting, in case you've bumped here for the very first time, and so far you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. And to our fans, our subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you. God bless Kenya.